And a happy Friday early afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities, Subaru, 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Kind of jam-packed, so we're going to be talking pretty fast here. First things first, we have this weather system that's had been seeing some thunderstorm activity. It's going to edge into the state of Vermont. It's already producing some high-level cloudiness on this early afternoon on Friday, and this will continue to be the trend as those clouds lower and thicken. The other thing I'm going to show you here is also the tropical storm. This is going to be Claudette. We have a Hurricane Hunter aircraft already doing some reconnaissance, and the latest tracking will probably get much better, and we'll be able to figure that out once a lot of that information gets into some of the computer modeling world. Now, that track basically dumps off the coast of the Carolinas, and I think this might be a little bit too close to the coast. It looks like it goes a little bit further out to sea. Some of its moisture, this will be arriving roughly south and east of New England, roughly along about Tuesday, and that may enhance a cold front. It's not going to work with this current weather system. It's going to be the one with the shortwave trough that's way up here, and then some of that moisture also coming in, and it'll be coming in via the Gulf of Mexico. A long ways out, we'll get to all of that business. Looking at the temperature scheme, what you can see right here is we got some pretty warm temperatures in the southern parts of the U.S. Of course, that big heat dome out west, that's where the record high and heat indices are really full blast right now. It's not very humid. It's relatively dry, although there had been some thunderstorms in California. Regardless, this main projection here is going to be up along like that, coming in out of the Ohio River Valley. And one last thing to show you here. We do have a little bit of wind here associated with this fairly strong or potent weather system that's up south of the west of James Bay, south of Hudson Bay, and this has been producing a little bit of wind. And some of those gusty winds are going to be out of the west-southwest, mainly in the St. Lawrence River Valley during the day tomorrow. That may approach 40 miles per hour in a few spots, and it may also enhance the winds in any convection that will be developing in the northern tier regions during the afternoon and early evening hours on Saturday. Same kind of thing will develop, by the way, on Tuesday. And what you're looking at here is the European incrementals, and what you can see is the rain shower activity. Relatively light. We're not looking at very much, and watch this area here as it's got a few thunderstorms in it, but it's going to mostly skirt to the north of us. It kind of splits apart just a bit, and it becomes a little bit lighter. This is valid by precipitation that comes in basically late 10 a.m. this evening, and that's valid by 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. That pushes on out and kind of scatters out. Then that precipitation dissolves. We still have this 996 hectopascal area of low pressure at surface north, quite a ways to the north of Montreal. Its close proximity, however, will continue to enhance what will be a frontal system that will push in, and also some pretty good warmer, more humid air. And this will activate the thunderstorms with some pretty strong winds aloft. And that wind shear could cause some of the storms to become locally severe. I'll have to wait and see all of that for basically Saturday afternoon and early evening. So as we move this along, this is valid about 5 o'clock during Saturday evening. That is valid at 8 p.m. and you can see it's already starting to lift and kind of work on out of the region. That's about 11 o'clock in the evening on Saturday evening, and then it's pretty much done. And this what sets up basically Father's Day Sunday with a dry day. And no real areas of higher pressure. We're just kind of in between weather systems. And it does look like that's going to move through. And it also gives us a very warm heat indice kind of day on Monday, where temperatures will probably get into the low and mid 90s for heat indices, and upper 80s to low 90s for ambient air temperature. So a pretty warm day expected. This is during the morning hours on Monday. You can see how this kind of shapes up. And it right knocking on the door, we do have some shower and thunderstorm activity. This is a fairly potent front. Now also, I'm going to go backwards here and show you where Claudette, I believe, is the name that's going to be issued here for this tropical storm. Makes its run toward the mouth of the Mississippi River, a little bit more east of Louisiana with the heavier rains and the Gulf Coast there, and then it works basically into the Carolinas. Now we're looking at the European model, so this is only as good as the European model, obviously, but it's pretty much a standard higher skilled model. It's been having some difficulties lately, so just a heads up on that. Now this will be dumping out across the North Carolina coast near Cape Hatteras, and you can see, and then it reinvigorates this system. Now this is tropical moisture. That's probably going to get entrained to the north. Some of that not directly, but more indirectly. And then you can see how that kind of holds up as this system kind of whips on through. This is valid once again during the overnight period on Monday night into Tuesday morning. And then by Tuesday, later in the day, kind of a little bit south and east of Cape Cod, I don't think there's really going to be much wind associated with it, at least on that side. However, it will enhance the rainfall and precipitation, where it's a pretty densely indicated potentially some heavier rainfall associated with that frontal system that's just going to kind of stall out over, especially northern and western Vermont. It does get into just about all of the area, and then you can see that system's gone, and then it pulls that cold front. And so this is valid during the evening hours on Tuesday. Once we get into the early morning, mid-morning hours on Wednesday morning, that system's out of here. We're looking at another good project weather day, is what I'm anticipating right now, as a ridge of higher pressure builds in and reinforces that. Now, a little bit later in the week, kind of unsettled, but you can see weather systems kind of running into an area of higher pressure. The Bermuda High, not really the Bermuda High, you can call it the Sable Island High, and this will basically start to work its way back to the south and west and become the Bermuda High, and that will start the old heat pump again, and you can see how this develops and cause a southwesterly flow and potentially maybe some rain showers later in the week. GFS ensemble looks like this. So what we're looking at here is the precipitation that's incoming tonight, a little bit during the afternoon tomorrow, afternoon and evening, and then we see a little bit of drier weather work on in, and then the other stuff that's going to work in along about Monday night and Tuesday, kind of a double peak. And that looks like the biggest in terms of precipitation. And then beyond that, we dry out again. So all said and done, the total QPF looks like this. We're talking maybe almost an inch. For the next 7 days, the Weather Prediction Center shows you about, for the next 7 days, about 1.5 inches. This is the 1 inch line. So less in southern parts of New England, a quarter inch off the coast and so forth. This is a ½ inch. That's 1 inch, 1.5. So the further north you go, the more precip you're going to find. And looking at temperature real quick from the climate reanalyzer, you can see where that heat wave is. It's basically, there's actually 3 spots. This is, of course, the western U.S. that's sort of extending now into the plains and the upper Midwest, getting into the Great Lakes, a little piece of Canada. We do have the cooler than normal air, and some overnight lows last night were basically in the upper 30s, mid 30s in a few spots in parts of northeast kingdom of Vermont. That's going to get flushed out, of course, with this incoming. The other heat waves up around Siberia and also across interior portions, northern portions of Europe. Looking at the 2-meter temperatures, and you can see the hand plot with the European over that on the charts that I issue. Looking at dew point temperatures, we climb into not quite, I would call it moderate humidity levels, and then a little bit reduced across during the day over the weekend. And that would include Father's Day as well. Sunday, not looking extremely humid. However, after that, on Monday, we do get pretty humid. Here, we're almost making a run toward 70 degrees, and then a sharp cold front will lower that humidity, and we'll go back into chillier conditions. And looking at the 850 hectopascal temperature, about the slice elevation of about the top of Mount Mansfield, you can see that the warmest temperatures coincide with that. Also, precipitable water is a good indicator here. You can see that coincides with the warmest temperatures, indicating this is probably our best chance to get some much needed rainfall in the area. And then, of course, a much drastically cooler, lower dew points, meaning we're going to see nighttime lows that are going to get chilly again. I wouldn't be surprised to see some upper 30s again later in the middle, sort of mid to late next week. Next 5 days of high temperatures comparison, the MOS meteorological output statistics give us neutral weighted over the next 5 days, but 3 days later, neutral to the west, a little warming starts to take place over the Canadian Maritimes back into eastern parts of New England. This is an animation of drought, and what we have in the yellow is abnormally dry weather. Moderate drought is the lighter shade of brown there, and then of course we've caught up in some southern parts. So we're going to start back here. This is rotating and moving along. We're going to go back to May 25th. Notice we have moderate drought, good portion. And I'll let you see how this animates. June 1st, we have still moderate drought in northern and eastern areas. June 8th, we've caught up a little bit on precipitation. By June 15th, we're still in the same kind of mode, and so forth. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights Consulting. Thanks for watching.